Technology services company Business Connection has reported an improvement in normalized headline earnings for the year to end August 2013. Normalized headline earnings per share rose 4% from just over 50.5 cents to 52.2 cents. Joining us in studio, Business Connection's Chief Executive Officer Benjamin Mofatlane. Ben, I'm sure there's a message in that Stacey Keach discussion, the whole JP Morgan thing for corporates. Be very careful if you want to open yourself up to Twitter.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think there are lessons learned. I think social media, as much as it's important, I think it's also important to realize that it can have unintended consequences.
And how? Well, let's look at your business. You have a credo that you are going to become Africa's leading tech company.
Yes.
Now, you're a long way behind that, behind the 8 ball, if you like,
yeah,
if you're a snooker player at this point in time. So these numbers, revenue is only up 6%. If you're going to become Africa's leading tech company, it's got to be more like 60% growth a year.
Absolutely. And also I think the important part for us, the key is going to be the acquisitions. But Nigeria was a stellar performer in this financial year. So we're looking at 2 acquisitions in Nigeria currently.
Take us a little bit deeper. In what areas?
Well, very much into the areas of verticals, specifically in the financial services. Nigeria's got a big banking segment, and most South African banks have been looking at either acquiring or doing something in that. So we're looking at a business that's got an IP in the financial services side, and also want to extend our managed printing offering across the continent. Although we're very dominant in South Africa, we believe there's opportunity to grow with Canon outside South Africa. Managed printing? Managed printing.
It means?
It's very much managed printing, if one looks at it as well, is that in the past, the printer used to be very much part of a procurement process. It's now become part of a total cost of ownership from a CRO. So these devices have become very much intelligent. You can actually look them up to the network. You can actually see how much printing has been done to the level of an employee level as well. So we've seen quite a lot of growth in that area. Last year, that business did 800 million rand of revenues. This year has gone just over 1 billion rand.
Benjamin, you also mentioned in your numbers that you are very bullish on the increase in your revenues from your African explorations, and you mentioned that the public sector also presents an opportunity for you. How is it working with them? Because we know that the public sector, especially in Africa, is not really painted out to be an easy counterpart.
Look, I think for us at the moment, the exposure is still South Africa from a public sector point of view. So we're sitting, if one looks at the market, Business Connection share of the market is only 2.5%. And on the revenues of 6 billion, we only did 7% came out of the public sector. So for us, there's a scope, but it's got challenges, obviously, around corruption, delayed projects, delayed tenders as well. But we believe that a big win we got out of Department of Water Affairs this year, which we've been able to transition in the last 6 months. It's a right step in the right direction.
Ben, corruption, South Africa?
Corruption everywhere.
Serious? Are you actually seeing that as an issue in the South African public sector?
Like, I think, for us, the big issue for us is not necessarily just within government. I think when you've got a lot of small SMMEs that have come across who necessarily don't have the skills, but certainly somehow they're always in front of the queues in terms of very big projects that require balance sheet, that require investment and everything else. But, we're quite confident that the new leadership at SETA is definitely going to take SETA in the right direction, and we believe that with the Minister of Public Service Administration, with what they're doing, Mrs. Sulu, I think it's going to go a long way towards addressing some of the challenges.
So the opportunities now exist. Very interesting. There's been a new head of procurement appointed by Pravin Gordhan to oversee procurement throughout the public sector. This must be a step in the right direction if you've been bumping your head in certain areas.
Absolutely. We believe that, I think that there's so much wastage. I mean, the Auditor General report came out, 30 billion rand of money that should actually be going to the right areas in terms of improving service delivery, making sure that the right investment comes through.
How you managed to step up against your competition like your big brother EOH? Their share price has been a solid performer, their operations as well, reporting positive numbers.
Look, what did they say in the States? Don't hate the player, congratulate him. So I think the important part, they've got that formula that is working. For us, we're very much more of a deeper IT company. If you look at the investment we made in the data centers, our positioning as well, I think they've got areas that they've done very well. And also, what is happening in our space, people are investing in non-IT, traditional IT services. So even in our financial year, we're starting to get into a place of HR business process outsourcing. And I think a lot of that growth has been not necessarily just being in pure IT, because I think IT services become quite pervasive. One has to look at smarter ways and bring new products and technologies.
But Ben, you're a 2 billion rand company. They're a 9 billion rand company, and Data is even bigger than them. So you've got some giants to bring down if you're going to be the top IT business in South Africa.
Look, we still got a long way to go, but I think the important and the most pleasing aspect in this financial result is that we're starting to win in the marketplace. So, you know, in the last quarter, we've won about 4 big of the blue chip clients, which we didn't have in the past. So that should come through in 2014 and beyond. And I think it just shows as well that when people are going through the challenges of cost cutting, they look at business companies like Business Connection from their perspective to grow them and also to take them outside South Africa.
Benjamin Mofatlane, it's always good to have you in studio. Thank you for joining us today. That was Benjamin Mofatlane, Chief Executive Officer of BCX, or Business Connection, as it's known. It's had an interesting career, BCX, but if Ben's only half right, this is a business to watch. At least he wears the right colour tie. You know, we get people from Nedbank coming in here with blue ties, and Ben's got BCX is a red company, isn't it?
So you're back in Joburg now?
I am indeed, yeah.
Oh, I thought you're still on the farm. So.
No, farm life doesn't work for
But I like the business, the website is good.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. Well, you see, he's my friend.
I see, Alec, connections in the right places.
Of course.
That's your business connection right there.